This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. I've never really been a fuzz aficionado or a fuzz fanatic or someone who really kind of jumped on the fuzz train. What I found personally, and what I thought was the case, was that generally I found fuzzes to be sort of these angry sounding things because oftentimes I use a clean amp. And then other things that I've seen people talk about is like cleaning up a fuzz and, you know, having that super glassy, clear, clean tone. And I'd never found that to be possible. Now, the other day, plugged into a fuzz face and a Fender Bassman 70 And there was one thing that really made all the difference here. Now, what I used to think about pedals and what I understood to be true, which is definitely wrong, was that the first pedal in the chain that your guitar goes into is what affects your impedance relationship. And this is one of the things that I know from anecdotal stuff to be important about this fuzz relationship, because basically a normal fuzz pedal, or certainly like a fuzz face style pedal, drops your impedance down, which kind of gets rid of quite a lot of the top end stuff. The reason that that's a thing is that when you then try to clean up on a volume knob on a Strat which doesn't have a treble bleed or anything, it kind of, a lot of that top end isn't there. So I'd never been able to get that kind of glassy stuff going on until the other day when I tried this thing. So it was with this not super expensive Jimi Hendrix Fuzz face. I'm going to try and replicate this at home. Now on the day, what we actually did, I'll try and find you the source for this information. What we tried the other day was a fuzz face, and then you plug your guitar into the fuzz face, and immediately after that you plug into some sort of buffered bypass pedal, right? So here's the thing, you put in a buffer after the fuzz face, and then that chucks back up your high end in the signal chain, right? For some reason, that's the thing that works. On that day, we actually plugged into a real clon bypassed. I'm going to try it with an actual buffer here today and see if that works. But it was with this pedal. This is a misaligned base plate. So yeah, this is the Fuzzface BC108 Silicon Jimi Hendrix Fuzzface. Not crazy posh or anything, but you know, as fuzzes go, relatively inexpensive these days. But this did all the things on the day that I thought, well, that would be the sort of thing I'd love to have a fuzz pedal for. You know, I'm never necessarily going to gig one of these things, but quite cool sound. Not the most aligned base plate in the world. So let's see if this works. You can see the somewhat misaligned base plate, but we're going to have to take this off anyway because you have to power this with a 9-volt battery by the look of things. Unless I've missed something terribly obvious, which is also a possibility. So I don't know if people are gigging fuzz faces, what do you do with these? You just leave the base plate off. Is there a thing that people do? I think that one was over tightened. So most fuzzes are relatively simple circuits as far as I'm aware. You can see there's not a terrible amount of stuff going on here. It's kind of like a switch jack, a couple of potentiometers and a few bits and pieces. As you can see, I've got the fuzz face here, which now has a 9-volt battery in it, and I think something like whacking your fuzz all the way up is something like probably what a lot of us have done. Now you see there's a buffer here that I can bypass or not, so hopefully this is going to work. I'm going into the HX Stomp on the preset Thiggy Clean, but I've just backed off the delay and reverb. So, moment of truth. I'm going into a clean amp essentially, right? That's with me backed off to like 5. Now hopefully yeah. That glass is back. So that's just in front of the HX stomp, so I'm presuming into an actual amp it would be even more of a pronounced difference. Let's just... Now going into a model of a bassman. So here we've got... You see, like, that's basically making it again, so all of that glass is there. That's exactly what I was missing, and I feel like it's a thing that I certainly didn't know about, so maybe you didn't either, so I just wanted to share that. I need to save that little preset. So I'm told that the way to go is generally to go into a buffered clon, apparently, for this sort of thing, but it seems something with a buffer in it. You want a non-true bypass pedal, a buffered bypass pedal. I guess something like a Boss tuner would also be buffered, but let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. It seems to me like that's definitely doing the thing that I've never really been able to do with fuzz, in that you sort of back off that volume. And you have some of that kind of touch responsiveness, stringiness back to the sound, and that stringiness was what I never had when I was backing off a fuzz, backing off the volume on a fuzz. Seems that might be a trick. Let me know any thoughts you've got on that in the comments, if you've got other tips as well. But turns out a fuzz face into a buffer makes a huge difference versus just going fuzz face into the rest of your chain, I think, at least. Catch you in another video soon. Cheers for now.